Be quiet, child. Oh, hello, everyone. You just caught me telling my child off. And here we are for our 3 o'clock show today. We're mixing these times up a little bit, and I'm joined by the amazing Beck Smith, who is somewhere up in northern Queensland. And we're going to have a bit of a chat today about building communities. Hey, Beck, how you going?
Hey, good. Thanks, Annette. How are you?
I am brilliant, thank you.
You're looking fabulous.
Thank you. Yes, like this is someone said your hair looks great, and I went, yeah, I did this. There you go. So there's a new hairstyle.
Oi, this is all nice at the front. You don't want to see the back of my hair. It's like a mop.
Yeah, nice at the front. Like I've probably just got out of bed and my hair.
Yeah, business at the front, party at the back. Hey, babe.
Yes, I went to a networking meeting a couple of months ago. I was the speaker and it was early, so I had to be there at 6:30 a.m. I'm not a morning person. And I've rocked up and I've gone like that to the back of my head and I've gone, oh, my God, I've got bed hair. I've like got, those little matted knots in your head because I've tossed and turned. And I'm like standing there going, oh, how can I get rid of that without people knowing? Crazy.
That is funny.
It is funny. So we're here on a Friday afternoon, and I think maybe we should have a little bit of a chat about building community, because that's something that you do fabulously well. For those who've never met Beck before, which is probably all of you, I met Beck a few weeks ago when she went, I'm going to put together this huge networking event with speakers from all over the place for women in business, and she pulled it together like she's the Energizer Bunny, and it went really well. It was really interesting. And how did you what's the thing with building communities for you? Why is it so important?
Well, for me, I'm a stay-at-home mum, and it'll be 2 years this August that I actually haven't done a 9-to-5 job. And I didn't go back from maternity leave, and I just sort of started falling into a little bit of a lull. And it was because I wasn't being connected. And I have never struggled with anxiety or depression or anything like that I've known of. However, when I feel that I'm going down that hill, connecting with someone really boosts me back up. And I guess, just it doesn't matter who I meet, someone else has something new for me to learn, or I learn something new about them, or something else that's going on in the world. So I guess not being in your own little bubble and connecting is all about why I build these communities, because you're only as good as the next thing you learn. And with all the women out there, we're all so talented and obscenely obsessed with what we do. And why not connect with women to learn more about that? I just love it. Lights me up every day.
When you're like 15 years old, is this where you thought that your life would be going?
Gosh, no. Oh, I didn't even know. Like, I knew actually I wanted to be a chef when I was 15. 14, 15. And when I started getting into year 11 and 12, I started learning more about, this 9-to-5 stuff and, going to get a job. And someone said, oh, chefs work long hours. And I said, what do you mean? And they're like, oh, well, you're up early and you're preparing, and then you have a break, and then you're up all night, like putting food out and all that. And when you're a trainee, it's worse. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm out. So from day one, I knew that I didn't want to have to work excessive hours to get to where I wanted to be. And it's crazy the way you think all the way back then, how it's relevant now. And I guess conditioning from our parents is a really hard thing to move past, because that's all we're, set up to do is go to school, get an education, go to work, retire, pass away. And that's not how I'm going to live my life. And I don't feel any woman or any person should be living that way either.
All right. That sounds really kind of dismal when you put it that way. I'm glad that I don't have a job. I remember when I took my eldest son for his high school orientation, and we're sitting there in this 2 hour, talk fest, and it's, these are the rules. This is what happens if you break the rules. And this is what, if you do this, and then this is what happens. And I looked at Zaid when we left and I went, I'm so sorry, son. And he went, why? And I said, I feel like I'm sending you to prison because they didn't talk about entrepreneurial thinking or opportunity or experience or insight or growth. They just talked about the rules and getting a good job. And I mean, there's got to be more to life than that, don't you think?
Oh, 100%. And my girlfriend, Jerry Houston, was just in my group before, and she was talking about the paradigms of how we say things and how we should be, when you say something to your child, do this or this will happen, like I just feel like we've all been set in this conditioning phase of our lives, and it's, follow this or this will happen, do this or this will happen. We always seem to think that there's a following if you don't do something correctly, whereas in the entrepreneurial world, if you look at it, and it's like, if you fail forward, you learn from your failings, because an entrepreneur never gives up and they always learn. So they just keep going with the next best thing, or the thing that will just keep them motivated to keep going. And the women that I connect with in my communities help me keep going, and building those relationships are important, because when you have those down days, they're there to pick you up as well. And I've just been all over the place in the last probably week, and it's just, I've been like this massive roller coaster, purely because I don't know what my next move is, and they are keeping me motivated. So
well, it's kind of that time for it, isn't it, Beck, that everything that we thought we were going to do 2 months ago is now it's like someone's gone into your laundry basket and gone, there's all your folded laundry, you have to go pick it up again. Sorry. And we're having to stop and think about what's our next move, and being strategic and careful about what we do, because, like, I don't know about you, I'm sure there's times in your life where you've done things that you've hated.
Yeah,
and
nearly every day.
Nearly,
it's called washing.
Cooking, cleaning.
Yeah, and that's my motivation, though, because I don't want to have to do that. And there is amazing people out there that are happy just to be a nanny or a cleaner or whatever that may be. And I'm grateful for that, because I'll be, working on bringing them into my life, because I've learned that outsourcing helps you a lot better. It gets you to your goals easier, and reaching out to people to, help you wherever you need is okay. And I'm forever putting out my hand at the moment, because, as I said, I'm working on my next move, and it's going to be huge, but I just don't know what that is yet. So outsourcing is something that I'm loving, that women do, because asking for help is something that we don't find comes easy for us, and we try and balance everything, and all these balls are up in the air, and we're just like, oh, we can't drop one. Oh gosh, if we drop one, what's going to happen? And if you drop one, it's completely okay. And I'm finding that this week, because I've got those connections that are telling me it's okay.
It's interesting. I was going to ask you, now this might be putting you on the spot a little bit, but you were talking about failures and balls all up in the air. Is there a time where you've failed? Well, go back. What do you think's been your biggest failure?
I reckon not. It's hard, because, as I said, I've learned from all my failures. I guess not sticking at something until the end. But I never finish a book. Okay, for example, I've never finished a book, and I'll get through the first probably 10 pages and go, oh, I can't do this. And I make it in my too hard basket, or I don't have time to read this book, and I make all these assumptions that I can't do it. And that's when I feel like I fail. And then I feel like it takes me forever to get out of that, low, I guess. So that's where I feel I fail. I don't finish things. But in saying that, I've learnt that. So I'm trying to, when I start something, especially with Base Bubbles business, and it was going to be easy for me to say, oh, can't have my live event. No worries. I'll just sit back and wait until I can have live events. I guarantee you no one would remember who I would be by August this year because I would have lost my presence.
It's a really good.
Yeah.
Haley just said the excuse rut. You know, we're so good at making excuses and justifying things in our head why we don't do things and going, oh, well, it'll be all right. I'll get to it later. So I guess it takes a bit of internal fortitude and guts to go, you know what, I'm just going to do it anyway.
Yeah, 100%. And what do you got to lose? If you're already feeling like crap and it doesn't work out, well, you're still there. But if it does work, or imagine if it did work, you know, whatever you put your mind to, like knocking on opportunity's door and saying yes, learning it all later, like it's the way to go, because I think you're undervaluing yourself if you're not putting yourself out there, because you are full of talent and you're full of knowledge. And it's just, you know, shifting that mindset to going, hey, I got this, and I've got people that will have my back. And that's another reason community comes in. You know, you just say, hey, babe, I'm jumping on and I'm doing this. Yeah, no worries. I've got your back. You know, and it's amazing that if you've just got that, like that amazing following or whatever it is, those friends or that community or that group, they will have your back because you've built up that know, like, and trust with them. So they understand what you're going through and they will just be there for you. So just give it everything, because someone will be there to hold you up when it doesn't go the right way. Or if it does go the right way, guess what? They're still going to be there as well. So,
and if you fail, then there's learnings that will come out of that failure, right?
100%. Yeah, always. Always.
So have you finished a book? I have to
No.
ask. No, you're getting
no,
there.
but I will admit I have started, and I'm loving the podcast with Marie Forello. Everything is figure outable, and I think that is. I wish I had written that book because I know everything is figure outable. But I'm loving her. I've sped up the how she talks and how quick she talks, because I'm just like, come on, get through this. So I'm loving it. And yeah, if anyone wants to read an amazing book or listen to an amazing book, Marie Forello, Everything is Figure Outable, and it's perfect for where we're at this moment, because yeah, it's just life shit. We know that, but you can work it out and you can move on and get through everything that is happening right now.
It's so true, isn't it? It's like when people say, oh, I can't do that. And it's like, have you asked more questions? Have you tried a different way? Have you looked at it from a different angle? You know, sometimes we give up far too quickly, don't we?
Yeah, we do, because it's easy to give up. Because if you're giving up, that's easier than trying to work out how to balance all these balls and, you know, to work out your next move. Like, I guarantee you I could have given up 10 times this week. Easily. And, you know, all I did was reach out to my girlfriend, Nairee, my best friend, Haley Deverell, you know, my best friend, Meg, my beautiful friend, Karen next door. I've reached out to so many people, my gorgeous friend, Ange, who's a coach. And they're like, babe, you are so talented. And by reaching out to all of us, you seriously are just, you know, making your next move in your head, but us by help. They're helping me get it down on paper, because I never write things down. I just keep everything up here. And I know that's why I'm so overloaded sometimes. And if I get it out on paper, I know, yeah, it makes a lot more sense. So.
Oh, well, you can see it when you keep stuff. That's what I say to people when they're planning, whether it's business or whether it's life. If you've got it in your head, then like you think of all the bullshit you tell yourself. So all of those goals and dreams and bullshit that you tell yourself are all mixed up inside that noggin of yours or mine or whoever's listening. And it's hard to work out what's the truth and not, because our brain just takes everything as the truth. So if you tell yourself that you're hopeless, your brain's going to go, you know what? Yes, you are. Or if you tell yourself that you're not, then your brain's going to go, you know what? You're not. I like what you said about community and outsourcing and reaching out. There was a great quote there from Obsessed Hub. I've got multiple personalities. I can comment and talk at the same time. Reach out, not in, because if we go in, we can't fix the thing with the thinking that we've already got, because that's what got us there. But if we reach out to community, then we're going to get the help. Do you think people don't do that because of judgment or for other reasons?
Oh, it's 100% judgment, because people don't know if your idea is going to be like, for me, sometimes I think, oh gosh, that idea is not very good. But if I just reach out to someone, they'll give me that constructive criticism and say, hey babe, that is good, but if you look at something, what about looking at this? And it's just giving you that whole full circle of ideas to make your idea come to life. And it might look completely different from when you first thought about it to the way it actually gets delivered. And that's completely okay as well. So I guess with, I don't know, I put myself out there all the time. I sometimes do that before I think about even what I'm saying. And, I'm just an honest person. I'm not a fake person. So when sometimes things come out of my mouth, it's just because that's the way I feel about it. And, doesn't matter what you say or what you do, you're going to upset the apple tree somewhere. And at the end of the day, if it's what you believe and your beliefs are strong, stick with that, because you're not going to be there to, to help. You're not there to help everybody, but you're also there not to please everybody. So I just tell you now, I had a big down moment after having my Yapoon event. Before we went into COVID, it was a sellout event and 150 women were there, and there was a list this long of things I could have changed and things I would have done differently. But then to have some women come back to me and say, hey babe, this wasn't good, and I was really disappointed about this, like that to me is failure, because people are coming to me with all this criticism. But then when I talk to my girlfriends and having that community around me, they're like, babe, it's not a failure, it's constructive criticism. And it's just something for you to put on your notebook that you know that you won't do that again, or you'll change things up. So don't ever be afraid to put yourself out there and have a failure, because, with the women that surround you, the right ones will stick with you, and the ones that are there just to bloody nitpick you, they will fall off the face of the earth really quickly, because you're going to have your vibrations way up here and they are not even close to where you are. So just keep doing the do, seriously.
I like that. Do what you do.
And is there, I guarantee, I challenge everybody to find a book out there that says, I'm perfect, follow me. There is not a book out there that is that. So just keep challenging yourself every day. You'll make it. I know you will.
Maybe we could write that one.
Oh, it probably it'd fly off the shelf, but it would be an empty carcass, because you can't write something that's not real. So
I'm certainly not a science geek, but I remember watching a documentary with Stephen Hawking, and he was talking about, how the universe came to be. And he said, it's interesting that people expect perfection when the universe isn't perfect. So if the universe isn't perfect, how come we expect each other to be perfect? Now I'm paraphrasing that. And it always strikes me, like your comment about the women who came up with a list of things that could have been done better. Here's my take on it, and I wear my heart on my sleeve too. Did they get off their asses and organise an event that 150 women came to? People are just overly critical sometimes, I think.
Yeah. And I guess, I'm a very vibrant, bubbly, energizer bunny, as you said, and I put myself out there. And I do that because I'm trying to help more women to do the same thing. And when I have a list, and on that list of the nitpicking, I first called it, there wasn't any serviettes on the table. You know what I mean?
Oh my
That
God.
that was only one thing, don't get me wrong, and there was a few other things, but that problem got fixed by the amazing women in the room that were there to help me. And they noticed there was no napkins, so they just put napkins on there. So it got fixed. But then to still have that brought up after the event, I was just like, it just slapped you across the face, and you're like, did you not notice everything else that was amazing at the event? Like, why was that such a focus point? Like, if I didn't have a napkin, you know what I would have done? I would have went and got one. I make things happen,
Yeah.
Like, don't bitch about it. Just make it happen.
Just make it happen. Absolutely. There's a quote that I just put in from Madeline Albright. My wonderful friend Jules Brooke uses this all the time. There's a special place in hell for women who don't help other women. And and I know this is not a business group and it's not a women's group, but we're two women talking. We're two women in business, and we're two women who are part of a lot of groups. And I noticed that there are a lot of women who want to drag others down. And there's women like us who go, like, we just want to get on and make things nice and awesome and help others.
Yeah. And my heart, I don't know how big it is, literally, but it is like exploding when I get to help the women. Like, I've got 700 and something people in my group at the moment, and I'm just bursting at the seams to work out how I can help them more. And that's what I mean by, working out my next move. It's how I can help more women. And, I'm not a coach, and I accept that, but I am a personal motivator. And, to work out how I can motivate more women is my next move. But I want to help women that can help themselves as well. Like, I'm not down here saying, okay, well, let's go and help you do your first thing online. No, I want women that are confident to step up to the plate to really help themselves. And I know there's a huge gap out there for women that need help at the base level, and I'm happy to do that. But I'm really wanting to work with those abundant women that are ready to go, So it's exciting because I'm starting to learn a lot about women and where I can move and what I can do. But it's exciting because I do love who I meet. So, yeah.
So, Beck, if you were promoted to Prime Minister of Australia tomorrow, I know
God forbid.
it's only $500,000 a year income. Mind you, though, I don't think that I would want the pressure that goes along with it. If you were Prime Minister tomorrow, what are some of the things that you would change, particularly for the business community, to make it a little bit more accessible and open for people to prosper and thrive?
I guess, like, I'm not into politics at all, and like, what's going on with ScoMo and all that sort of stuff, like, it is a tough gig, and I know, like, so many things get thrown at you, like, and you really have to work fast to work out, okay, is that a good move if that's not. But then it comes back to, you're always going to have those trolls that are going to disagree with you, and it doesn't matter how quick you move or how slow you move or how intricate your thinking is, people aren't going to like you anyway. But I guess to have a level playing field is something that I feel needs to be more of, because we're segregated so much with big business, little business, based on how much money we earn, but we're not working out on what we actually are giving back. So I guess I don't know, I wouldn't even know where to start to change.
But I like where you were going with that, a level playing field, because it is us versus them so often. And we've seen it now with, the COVID payments that are coming out in Australia. We are in Australia, people, so we can't refer to what's happening in other countries. But you know, you're seeing that nitpicking with people. I know I threw you a curly one there, but it was kind of like you're so passionate about business that it was like, I wonder if you've thought about. I see you very much as a leader, and I wonder if that's how you see yourself.
I do. I'm just working out the thing I'm leading at. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I know that I've got my shit together, because I know I don't, but I'm not ever going to give up in my pursuit to help more women. And I just love being active. I love being, and I don't mean active as I'm going for a run. I mean active online, being there, empowering women. And I'll tell you now, if I've had a shit day, I'll tell you about I've had a shit day. And I told you before, I've had a shit week and it's been hard and I've cried 3 times, but it's okay. I'm here and I'm like, whoa, I got this. Whatever it is, I'm just keep going. But I also want people to know from, and I know we're not really talking about business, but I want women to be open to the opportunity to have an and to their life. And if that's, you've got your business and you are struggling at the moment, it's okay to reconfigure that to have an and business and an and goal. Because the thing that I'm struggling with is all these women that are at home now with schooling. They're trying to be the best teacher for their children, when I think that's an overkill. You don't need to be the best teacher. You just need to guide, and you just need to be there for them, because it's freaking hard for them as well. Not just us, but hard for them. And I guess if you are just being the best person you can be, and, you know, just being open to saying, hey, I'm not actually schooling, I'm unschooling, because we're not teachers. And don't be something that you're not. You know, it's simple. Just follow the guidelines, make it through the next few weeks, and don't put so much stress on yourself, because it's not worth it at all.
I'm doing a great job with schooling. My son is sitting 5 meters away from me playing Xbox, which he's been doing all day. So I am the top of the good mummy list, because I just looked at his schooling and said, I don't have space to do this. Like, I don't understand what the system is. They've got so many platforms that they need to be on. And I said to the school today, I have to earn a living. So, you know, he's
and you know it's also frustrating is women who work at home that have a home-based business are not deemed as essential workers. So you tell me how that is fair.
No, well, it's not. Let's agree.
There you go. I want to be Prime Minister to change that.
Yeah, let's change that. Absolutely. I mean, many years ago, there was a grant in Queensland. It was called the Home-Based Business Grant. And all of the people who weren't home-based, who were small businesses, were up in arms. I really just think there's no pleasing. You can please some of the people some of the time, but you can't please all of the people all the time. And I don't think that we should even begin to try to do that.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, like if I was Prime Minister, you know what I want? I'd be wearing a pink suit every day, and that would probably piss people off.
Well, hey, Holly just said, can you please tell Beck I think she's the dog's dangly bits? Now, I think that's a compliment.
I hope that is. Thanks, Beck.
I can hear Hayley saying it, and it is a compliment, just the way that she says it.
In her accent as well.
You that day that you contacted me and said, could you do this? And we've had quite a few chats. I absolutely think that you're a superstar. You are a leader. You don't even need to define your leadership, because a leader to me is someone who sucks it up, puts it out there, has a go, and doesn't give up. And to me, that's you wrapped in a beautiful pink suit.
Oh, thanks, babe. Appreciate that.
You're really welcome. Thank you for joining us today. And, you know, if you are in regional or rural areas like Beck is, reach out to her and talk to her about her Bubs, Babes and Business network, because it's just bringing people together in such an amazing way. And you can build businesses in regional and rural areas, because she's showing you how to do it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye, babe.